Listen more often to things than to beings. Listen more often to things than to beings. And the ancestors' breath when the fire's voice is heard. 'Tis the ancestors' breath in the voice of the waters. Those who have died have never, never left. The dead are not under the earth. They are in the rustling trees, they are in the groaning wood, they are in the crying grass, they are in the moaning rocks. The dead are not under the earth. So listen more often to things than to beings. Listen more often to things than to beings. 'Tis the ancestors' breath with the fire's voice is heard. 'Tis the ancestors' breath in the voice of the waters. Those who have died have never, never left. The dead have a pact with the living. They are in the woman's breast. They are wailing child. They are with us in our homes. They are with us in the crowd. The dead have a pact with the living. So listen more often to things than to beings. Listen more often to things than to beings. The ancestors' breath when the fire's voice is heard. 'Tis the ancestors' breath in the voice of the waters. We come back to this place today, a place where we come to gather in joy and a place where we gather in sorrow. And today we have both. Today we gather to celebrate the joy of Traci's life, of Traci's touch, and the sorrow of not feeling that touch in the same way. And so it's a blessing that we're here to honor this incredible woman. In the Christian tradition, there's a sign of passing peace to each other, of wanting to extend peace into the space. And I invite us to begin with that, to turn to the people next to us and to give them a hug or a handshake, but to share a sign of peace. Peace.
Oh, shake a hand. Peace.
Mira Mikiewicz writes, "We light this chalice, which transforms into pure light and warmth, to remind us of our own living, transforming the stuff of this world into love and the activity of our daily lives. As we remember Traci, may we bring forth transformation in ourselves, from grief, healing, from memory, from wholeness, and from celebration and love. May it be so."
Each other serve, for services we give, for work and its rewards, for hours of rest and love, we come with praise and thanks for all that is our For sorrow we must bear, for failures, pain, and loss, for each new thing we learn, for fearful hours that pass, we come with praise and thanks for all that is our For all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift, which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad. I'd like to invite us into a moment of meditation, and however that feels good in your body. And if it feels good to let your eyes be closed or to look down. Let's begin by taking a big breath in and letting it go. I have a memory of sitting in the hospital with Traci, and she was holding my hand, and we just decided that a meditation was the thing that we needed. And a few times over again, we shared this one. On your next breath in, I invite you to imagine there is the most beautiful blue smoke entering into your body and filling you with life. Take that first breath in of that beautiful blue smoke, feeling it cool and healing as it moves down your left side. And when you're ready, let that breath go. I invite you to imagine again that beautiful blue smoke entering into your body, filling you with cool, healing, filling the right side of your body. And when you're ready, let it go. And on this breath, I invite you to bring that beautiful blue smoke into your heart, offering you the cool feeling of comfort on a hot day, of healing. Hold on to that. When you're ready to let it go, let it go. And in this space, I invite you to breathe how's comfortable for you, and to keep moving that beautiful blue smoke just where you need it today. Maybe to a part of you that feels tender, let the wind of that smoke wrap around you, bringing you the calm presence of healing.
Hello, people alive in the world. Meaning of death. Please quell your concerns for me. I am emotionally intelligent. To understand meanings, as Clay pointed out, we make meaning. To hopefully console our fears, anger, confusion, and misperceptions. Traci's earthly suffering is over. I am making meaning out of death with the understanding of my life. I am not hung up on death. You will never truly understand what I have endured, nor do you need to. The meaning of a church family is what you need to understand. And don't be afraid how you will be received by the people of a church family. Find meaning and acceptance of your church family. Life is people. Traci and my anniversary was on May 1st, and I would like to read our wedding vows just so you can have some kind of idea how we met. And then I would like to read the poem, Among the Stars. A goodnight kiss, wedding vows. A solemn promise like sand in a little solemn heap, or a cup of tea after it steeps. We take this vow, living in the now, well, a poem. Our gifts of personality, confidence, and understanding. We are both blessed with the gifts to give without remembering, to take without forgetting. Knowledge is to uplift, arise, and meet each day, like this living can be taken away. Again, simply, seize the day. Like a spring wind, for you to take away our compassion for this commitment in May. I guess I'm expected to say, it's my love that I will never take away. But truly, it wasn't mine, but ours, not only mine, in the first place. I can tell by the light in her eyes, the smile upon her face. Our love is a flash of light on a wintered blue night, like a shooting star on the coldest winter sky. It's our love to replenish and nurture, like how love calls like the wild birds, communion with nature. I lived without her darn near half my life. Serendipity told me the way time tells of a wife. The way my doctor told me to find a dear companion for a better quality of life. She was blessed with a rainbow, and she gave it to me, a gray parade of normal elephants, sparkle jubilee. As we gather together for this lifelong commitment, our hearts of the moon upon its crescent. For me to be in true love when I've only been a peasant, she descended down to me from above. In our gift of love, we gave to ourselves first, two lonesome souls adrift at sea, hope submerged, and growing beneath endless yesterdays, overflowing lonesome tomorrows, but never in the now. Now we are found with all this amazing grace, our love that when there is only once was an empty space. Love, pleasures, and penalties, distant glances, mental pictures, fantasies, among the gentleness proved, empathy a part of us, loneliness removed. The grand picture inside of us, osmosis of souls deep within my spiritual renewal, breathy beauty of fairy tales, maypoles, quiet reflections of mountains as her soul unveils, given the art of oneness of two. Once a dream to the left, imagine shades of purple and blue. You are a lovely woman, deep within my sight. Hold you close, a kiss goodnight. Among the stars. We both had a belief in righteousness. Doesn't mean it was a self-righteous way of thinking. A belief that if justice was worked for, gained, and maintained, mercy for suffering people is attainable through sharing our life experience. An informed optimism of compassion, because where hope grows, there is life in the possibilities of this way of care. Person-centered care, asking how to meet the person's needs, communicating how to be included in your care. And Traci cared. Even on the medical hospital care merry-go-round she maintained, childhood glee in her grandchildren's eyes, mirror in her eyes, a friend to all living creatures, the ways to share her story about Sadie getting on a horse, the healing that took place, and sharing the meaning of that from within to make many new friends. Love is everyone, believing in inherent worth, teaching people self-respect, the joy of our commonalities, our shared realities, human dignity. Always knowing the people she was helping are truly lonely men and women, mostly without support systems or anyone else to believe in them. Mental health peers, the abused, the shamed, the taken advantage of, the ones whose self-worth is measured from a death-denying society when we're all going to die. Traci's life became an emergency, a hospital for a home, an illness with no cure, a soul no longer suffering, a beautiful memory, her place in eternity among the stars. Thank you.
a star. Wake up where the clouds are far behind me. Me, where trouble melts like lemon drops. High above the chimney tops, that's where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. And in the dreams that you dare to, why, oh, why can't I someday, ocean of star, wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops. High above the chimney tops, that's where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high. And the dreams that you dare to, why, oh, why can't
One of the first moments that Traci and I got to connect was after a children's book called Carmela Full of Wishes. And it's a really beautiful book about a little girl who takes her brother and her friends and her community on a magical journey, following the tiny little feathers of dandelions. And along the way, she takes them to this really gorgeous place where the whole world is just full of dandelion dust. And Traci and I talked about it after that service. It was really beautiful. And then George shared this recording of a poem that Traci also wrote about that kind of dandelion magic.
Whispers of dandelion wishes floating through the wind, the innocence of dreams and hopes carried within. The white fairies speckle and litter the sky, as hope of new life the beautiful weed does rely. The flower, yellow hue, is merely a weed, but matures and the petals run transformed to messengers of hope. Belief and dreams is all that is needed. The flower, oh yes, the weed brings joy, as remembered by small girls and boys. Inhale, make a wish, let your breath escape as the wondrous flower sacrifices its once yellow petals, now white fairies, into the world to grant wishes for continued survival of the weed's existence. Such power is held by the small flower weed, just breath and belief is what is needed. We embark on a journey where the dandelions have been picked in hands grasped strong. The new roots to be formed will accept the fairies and the strength of new roots and live together long.
I got to know Traci in hospitals and at church. Perhaps that was fitting, meeting and caring and learning with her in places that are meant to cultivate healing, places which remind us of what it means to be alive. Traci was very much a healer herself, a healer for her peers and her world and herself. I got to know Traci in places we visit and care for our bodies and our spirits, places which hold the contradictions of the human condition. Traci appeared in my life brave and vulnerable, with needs and with hopes that just made her so beautifully alive. She came to this space and sat in the front pew over and over again looking for healing in community. And I met her in many hospitals where we hoped together, a reminder that she wasn't alone. This church came together to support Traci and her family over and over again, crowding them with love. Traci's friends and family doggedly cared for her every step of the way. George has lived as a full-time caretaker. The best doctors in the world performed life-saving surgery after life-saving surgery. We all put in the work. We all did what we could, and then we found a way to do more. Traci most of all, and today she's not here. The hard spiritual lesson of healing is that it doesn't end with someone getting healed. Like being in recovery, healing is a perpetual practice of beloved community. It's a practice that makes us aware over and over again that we're alive. Traci's determination and endless well of care inspired me to persevere, to live. I remember sitting in the ICU at Anschutz, suited up in PPE, from booties to a hairnet, holding Traci's hand through my blue medical glove, and I was keenly aware of being alive with a woman whose illness couldn't dim how deeply she cared about the world. Traci was having a good day, and her spirits were up, her voice chirped, and her eyes glistened, and she showed me videos of her grandchildren, and she told me, as she often did, of the impact she wanted to have in the world. I looked back over our texts as I was preparing for today, and I found her writing confirming her words of that day over and over again. I want to be there for others. There's more I want to do. I just want to help others. We talked about the complications of wanting to do such good in the world and simultaneously needing to figure out how to care for ourselves. We wondered about the difficult moments and what it would take to survive just being alive. So I turned, as I often do, to the wisdom of music. That day, I remember sharing the lyrics to one of my favorite Stephen Sondheim songs, Being Alive, from the musical company. Somebody hold me too close. Somebody hurt me too deep. Somebody sit in my chair and ruin my sleep and make me aware of being alive. Somebody need me too much. Somebody know me too well. Somebody pull me up short and put me through hell and give me support for being alive. Today, I hope that in the contradiction of painful loss and beautiful memories, in the heartbreak, in the unknowing, in the longing, we can see that Traci's life and legacy sparkles when we realize that we're alive. The healing she cultivated in herself and hospitals and churches and her community is ours now. May her work continue. May her healing journey breathe life into this community. May we all find that Traci was somebody who Sondheim imagined, somebody to force us to care, somebody to let us come through. I'll always be there, as frightened as you, to help us survive being alive. May her memory be a blessing alive in us as we survive, caring, healing, and being alive together. May it be so. We want to open up this microphone to people who would like to share a story. It could just be a moment. It might just be one instant. But a memory of Traci that you want to bring into this space, that you want to give to us as a blessing as we honor her life, as we honor her work, as we honor the ways that she reminds us of being alive.
I never delete a text message thread, ever. And it's always a lovely memento. And the first text message Traci ever sent to me was, and we didn't know each other at that point. We hadn't been in UUkes, and I hadn't met Jessie. I just had seen her be in the front row. And she sent me a text message, says, who in our church is a bluegrass music type group who would be willing to help Phoenix Rise with a benefit concert for Recovery Month in September? She was always thinking about other people. She was so compassionate, so thoughtful. So in return, in August, when we did our flower communion, she wasn't well. So Sharon and Larissa, myself, and Kathy, we had Claire pick a flower for her, and then we did a group photo and send it to her while she was in the hospital so she would be included. It was just one of those beautiful moments. And the fact that she's got a generous heart, everybody in here knows that you can tell what kind of a person someone is when you break something of theirs, right? How do they respond? So the first time we were at UUkes, I wanted to be a little helper, and she brought her baritone ukulele, and I play a child's soprano ukulele. So I was trying to tune her ukulele for her, and I couldn't get it right, and she was sitting right there all excited. Wing! I popped a string. She wasn't fazed. It was okay. She was calm, and I said, okay, don't worry. I will go buy strings, and I'll come to your house tomorrow, and I'll restring your guitar, and I apologize. And it was just a way for us to become friends, because I did something, I broke her instrument on her first day out, but she was so loving, and nothing fazed her. She really knew what mattered, what has value. And sometimes when, in Spanish, they call it un equivocado, when you make a little mistake, it's a great way to build a friendship. And I love her, and I'm going to miss her, but I'm going to keep her text thread.
I first met Traci in a class that I took, building your own theology class. It was the second part. Laurel let me in, even though I hadn't taken the first part, which was really nice of her. So I took that, and it was me and Traci and Tam and Sharon in that class, and Norma as well was there. And it was an amazing time. It was in the middle of COVID, so we started out on Zoom, and then when it became okay, we started meeting in Parker Hall, and it was just kind of a friendship that developed between all of us, and it was amazing. But I'll never forget something that Traci said in that class. And Tam and Sharon, please tell me if I get this wrong or if you remember it differently, because I don't remember all the details, but it was really beautiful. And she was telling us about a dream that she had, where she met her grandfather, who had passed a long time ago. And he was showing her a dome of a many windowed dome, like you see sometimes in greenhouses or something. And there was a tree in the middle. And the grandfather was explaining, do you remember this, Tam? Yeah, her grandfather was explaining that everybody sees their part of the tree, but nobody sees the whole thing. And that was when I first came to Namakwa. I was first getting sober. I was first trying to define, what spirituality meant to me. And that was really impactful for me. And I don't want that to just, that dream and that beautiful thought to just, die in that room or die with Traci. I wanted to share it with you all. So that was probably my favorite moment with Traci.
On Traci's 50th birthday, which was January 2nd, we had a chance to say goodbye. She told me she was going to live for 5 more years, and that her condition, she explained that it wasn't getting better, and I guess a doctor told her that she was going to die. So we said our goodbyes, and she told me to find somebody else. Look for somebody and find somebody else to care for me. She understood how I lived with mental illness and about how loneliness has always been the biggest problem in my mental wellness. She didn't want me to be alone. I have to tell this story so that people know that Traci gave me her blessing to be a part of other people.
So I didn't know Traci well. I met her through the class that Larissa was talking about. And she was with us, I think, once or twice. Mostly, I don't know if she was on Zoom most of the time with the class because of her illnesses. But the class was very intimate. There was only a few of us in the class, and we shared a lot of intimate thoughts and experiences in our lives. And Traci shared some intimate things with us that showed me what a strong person she was to get through all of the things that she had gotten through in her life. And still, she was just all about taking care of other people. And I just was so impressed with that. And that I don't know where people get the strength to get through all that stuff and come out the other side and be the kind of beautiful person that she was. But some people are blessed with that strength. And it's wonderful that they are, to have angels like that among us that are willing to do that. So she did touch my life, even if it was just for a short period of time. And I will never forget her. And she was a blessing, for sure.
So I didn't know Traci as well as I would have liked either. In fact, hearing her just now in the recording was really beautiful because I don't think I've ever heard her voice so clearly. And I think it's very special that we had that opportunity. What I want to share is probably the greatest blessing that I've received from Traci, and it's also something I'm a little ashamed of, so here goes. Many years ago, there was a woman that I worked with who also had a lot of health and just really difficult life concerns, and an ex-boyfriend at the time came to pick me up from work one day, and he said, "Oh, my friend needs a ride," and the look on his face and the way that he kind of clammed up and the conversation we had later, I didn't realize, but ingrained in me this idea that if you help someone who needs help, that they may start needing more and more help. And if they need more help than you can give, then you've put yourself in a difficult position. And I didn't realize it at the time, but I had started to create walls when I felt like someone needed more help, even if I often wanted to give it. If I couldn't give it, should I even begin to open up a heart or a hand to offer? I did get to know Traci through a number of really beautiful things like Ukes and helping put together furniture and office chair at her house. And I think I probably got to know her the most, taking her to an appointment in Denver, multiple doctor's appointments, and really getting to hear her life and her story, and sometimes not getting to hear it, but having her write it down and us just talking back and forth that way. Traci actually offered Ocean and I a place to live when I didn't know where we were going to live back in September. And I think that broke a lot of the walls that I had. Because if someone that I perceived as needing more help than I could give wanted to help me back, then maybe it was okay and maybe it was safe. And so I just want to thank her for that, and thank this whole community for showing me that it's okay to give what we can give and keep our hearts open. So thank you, Traci.
I have actually something upbeat. George confirmed when I came in. When she was young, she was an athlete, not just an athlete, an outstanding athlete. She won some stuff, didn't she? So that's upbeat. She had a good life.
I'd like to invite us back into a space of meditation, honoring all the stories that we've heard, honoring the memories that we've said out loud and the memories that are deep in our hearts. Let's take a big breath in and let it go. Another big breath in and let it go. And one more, because it feels so good. Take that big breath in and let it go. And in this space of stillness, we honor, we remember, we witness, we continue the work of Rise, Phoenix, Rise. We continue the blessing of finding community through flowers. We continue building and restringing our friendships. We remember the dreams that show us the many parts of a tree. We sit in gratitude for understanding. We hold each other in loneliness. We remember the strength that comes from caring for others. We sit with the gift of hearing and remembering with clarity. We open our hearts and our hands to care beyond our reach. We remember a life well lived. Oh, below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean. Still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun my sail and moon my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions. Are we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home? I give thanks to the waves upholding me, and the great winds urging me on. Leave the infinite sea before me, sing the stars.
Mary Oliver writes, "Look, the trees are turning their bodies into pillars of light, are giving off rich fragrance of cinnamon and fulfillment. The long tapers of cattails are bursting and floating away over the blue shoulders of the ponds. And every pond, no matter what it is, name is, it's nameless now. Every year, everything I have ever learned in my lifetime leads back to this, the fires and the black river of loss, whose other side is salvation, whose meaning none of us will ever know. To live in this world, you must be able to do three things: to love what is mortal, to hold it against your bones, knowing your own life depends on it, and when the time comes, to let it go, to let it go."
As we end this sacred time together, I invite us to stand and to reach out and grab hands with the people around us. Reminding each other that we're alive, breathing in healing and breathing that healing out to the world, holding each other and being held as we mark this moment with these beautiful words by Mark Twain. Warm summer sun, shine kindly here. Warm southern wind, blow softly here. Green sod above, lie light, lie light. Good night, dear heart. Good night. Good night. Let's have a big breath here and let it go. And give a squeeze to the people next to you. And turn looking in their eyes with gratitude for them showing up here today, for witnessing and honoring and loving and caring. May we all go out and continue to do the work of healing, continue to do the work of being alive. May it be so. So beautiful. Thank you for playing. It was perfect.